A dangerous prisoner has escaped.
His name, Sirius Black.
A cold-blooded killer, armed with dark magic. And he's looking for one person.
Harry Potter.
Why? What secret connects Harry to Azkaban's most feared inmate?
This year at Hogwarts, the shadows grow longer, and the truth is more terrifying than any spell.
Welcome to Year 3, where nothing is as it seems.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hi, all. Glad you could join us.
Welcome to BookPodCastZone. I'm Emma, and I'm honestly so excited to be your guide today as we plunge into a world of magic, but also deep mystery and some pretty shocking revelations.
And I'm John. I'm really looking forward to, helping navigate the intricate layers of this story, connecting some of those dots, and maybe revealing why these tales continue to resonate so deeply with all of us.
Today, we're embarking on a really extraordinary deep dive into J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And this isn't just going to be a simple recap, no. We're using exclusive excerpts from Unveiling Azkaban, a chapter-by-chapter journey, to really peel back the layers of this pivotal story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our mission, if you will, is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from this incredible source material. We'll explore the evolving challenges Harry faces, which really ramp up here.
Oh, definitely.
And also the deeper psychological themes, the societal stuff Rowling weaves in, and importantly, how this book dramatically expands our understanding of the wizarding world and its characters.
Yeah.
It kind of changes the whole tone of the series, doesn't it?
It really does. So get ready for some surprising facts, maybe a few aha moments, hopefully, and maybe even a chuckle or two as we unpack the genius behind this truly beloved novel.
Right, let's dive in.
So let's kick things off with Chapter 1, Owl Post. This opening chapter, it really sets a foundational tone, doesn't it? It immediately throws us back into Harry's world.
Right back into it.
Yeah, after that amazing year at Hogwarts, he's back at Privet Drive, stuck in what our source, Unveiling Azkaban, really aptly describes as the stifling confines of Privet Drive. I mean, you can almost feel his heart heavy with the weight of isolation. He's just yearning for connection, for belonging.
It's striking, isn't it, how Rowling just plunges us back into that familiar feeling of Harry's early life. It's such a stark contrast, almost visceral, between the vibrant magical world he's tasted and the Dursleys' just suffocating, mundane, well, deeply unmagical existence.
Yeah, and it's not just physical confinement, is it? It's emotional, it's spiritual. Rowling captures that universal feeling of being trapped, of being disconnected, even when you're technically surrounded by family. The Dursleys' disdain for him, for anything remotely extraordinary, it just smothers him. It makes his yearning for Hogwarts his true home, as he sees it, where he's celebrated, not scorned so incredibly palpable, you feel it. That simple act of him just waiting, watching the skies for news, it says so much about his fundamental need for acceptance. Absolutely, and that longing for home, it's such a powerful theme, isn't it? Throughout the whole series, really, but it feels particularly sharp right here at the start of Year 3. We, as readers, we feel how desperate he is to get out of that mundane, honestly hostile environment and get back to where he belongs, where he's not just accepted, but, loved.
Yeah.
It's almost like a physical ache. The silence of his room compared to the vibrant sounds and colors of the wizarding world we know he's missing, it really highlights that ache.
It truly does. And then you get that moment of pure, unadulterated hope and relief. The sound, the flutter of wings, the owl post arriving. These aren't just birthday gifts and letters from Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid. They're vital lifelines. They remind Harry and us that he's not forgotten, that he's part of this other world that embraces him. Our source highlights how Rowling masterfully captures the ache of loneliness and the thrill of connection. And you feel that contrast so keenly in this chapter. It's like this sudden burst of magic, of friendship just cutting right through the Dursleys' suffocating normality.
And it's fascinating how Rowling embeds so much cultural context almost without us noticing it. Unveiling Azkaban points out that her portrayal of suburban repression at Privet Drive, it reflects British middle-class norms of the 1990s. Which makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
This isn't just a convenient backdrop. It's a subtle commentary, isn't it? On a specific societal environment where, conformity and keeping up appearances were just paramount. And anything perceived as abnormal was met with suspicion, fear.
Total fear. The Dursleys, with their rigid adherence to what they consider normal and their absolute terror of anything outside their narrow little worldview, they perfectly represent that kind of societal pressure.
Yeah.
That sort of keep your head down, don't stand out mentality.
Yeah.
And then you have the owls themselves. They're so much more than just delivery birds, aren't they? As our source mentions, owls, rooted in folklore as symbols of wisdom, carry the magic of communication. They feel ancient symbolic conduits between Harry's confined Muggle reality and the boundless magical world. They bring not just messages, but magic, knowledge, and that invaluable sense of connection into Harry's otherwise really dreary existence. The very act of them arriving, it signifies a bridging of worlds. It's an affirmation that magic, and maybe more importantly, friendship, always finds a way through.
So, thinking about that for us, for you listening, that initial sense of feeling trapped, of being isolated, and then receiving that unexpected burst of hope, that lifeline, it resonates, doesn't it? I mean, maybe it's not an owl.
Probably not an owl, no.
Probably not. But maybe it's a text message, an email, a video call, even just, a funny meme shared by a friend when you're feeling completely overwhelmed or just out of touch. It's that immediate connection that can just pull you out of a mundane or difficult situation. It taps into such a deep human need for belonging, for validation.
Oh, absolutely. That feeling is incredibly universal.
Yeah.
And you can easily see parallels in a U.S. context, right? Like, imagine a teenager stuck in some quiet suburban town during summer break.
Right. Long summer days.
Exactly. Feeling totally disconnected from their friends who might be off at camp or on vacation. They're stuck in the same old routine, just longing for some adventure or maybe just a deeper connection. For them, that owl post, it isn't a literal letter. It might be a notification pinging from a group chat where their friends are suddenly planning something exciting.
Yeah, or a video call.
Or a video call that just makes them feel seen and heard, even when they're physically alone. Or maybe it's even something simpler, like, a new song dropping from their favorite artist, providing that kind of creative, emotional connection to something bigger than their immediate, maybe boring environment. It's that immediate, often digital burst of connection that yanks them out of their mundane surroundings. Just like Harry's letters pulled him, mentally at least, out of Privet Drive. It really speaks to a universal truth. Those threads of communication, especially from the people who truly get us and accept us, they are absolutely vital for our well-being.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, fantastic start. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, chapter 2. Aunt Marge's big mistake. Oh, this one. This one is iconic.
It really is. It's that moment where Harry is just pushed to the absolute brink, isn't he? By Aunt Marge's cruel, relentless taunts about his parents, especially his mother.
Vicious stuff.
Absolutely vicious. And what happens? We get this deliciously chaotic scene, as Unveiling Azkaban puts it so well. Harry's raw anger, his indignation, it literally explodes into accidental magic, inflating Marge like some kind of grotesque, human-sized balloon. It's unforgettable.
It is, but it's so much more than just, a moment of comedic relief, though it definitely delivers on the humor, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What's really compelling here, I think, is that it's a significant, uncontrolled outpouring of Harry's raw emotion. And it's driven by intense loyalty. There's loss of self-control, yes, but it's also this powerful, almost primal demonstration of his burgeoning independence, his fierce protective loyalty to his parents' memory. This isn't just about getting even. It's a spontaneous, instinctual act of defiance against injustice, which is, a core part of Harry's developing character that just surfaces when he's pushed way too far. His magic isn't just a tool here. It's deeply intrinsically tied to his emotional state, his moral compass.
Exactly. And it's this fantastic, unforgettable blend of humor and shock. You find yourself laughing at the sheer absurdity of Aunt Marge just uncontrollably floating away, her body expanding.
Like a horrible parade float.
Totally.
Yeah.
But you're also feeling this visceral satisfaction, right? A kind of catharsis as Harry finally stands up for himself and his parents against years of abuse. This scene powerfully showcases how his intense emotions are tied to his magical power. We've seen glimpses before, like vanishing the glass at the zoo.
Right, small bursts.
But never quite so dramatically or with such clear emotional motivation behind it. It feels like a real turning point in his personal agency. He acts, even if accidentally.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Unveiling Azkaban suggests that Rowling, through a 1990s lens, uses this scene to subtly mirror societal clashes over individuality. Just fascinating.
How so?
Well, the Dursleys, and Aunt Marge especially, they embody this suffocating, almost aggressive form of rigid conformity. They represent that relentless societal pressure to be normal, to suppress anything that deviates from their narrow, self-serving definition of what's acceptable. Harry's accidental magic, his raw, uncontrollable display of unique power and deeply felt emotion, it's a powerful, almost anarchic act of rebellion against that suffocating ideal. It's a rejection of their whole oppressive worldview.
I think we've all felt that, haven't we, on some level?
Yes.
That universal experience of being pushed to the absolute breaking point by someone's cruel words, that moment where you just want to lash out or, I don't know, make them understand. And in a fantasy, you get that immediate, spectacular, if chaotic, consequence.
Yeah, the ultimate wish fulfillment.
Right. It's incredibly cathartic for the reader because it taps into that very real emotional frustration that so many of us can relate to, that desire for a profound, immediate vindication against injustice.
It really does resonate. And thinking about that in the U.S. context, think about examples of rigid conformity versus individuality in American culture. Maybe you've seen it play out in, say, high school social dynamics, where there's immense pressure to fit into a particular clique, dress a certain way, follow specific trends, this unspoken code of conduct.
Oh, definitely. Or even in some corporate environments.
Exactly. Where expressing unique, maybe out-of-the-box ideas or challenging the established way of doing things might be met with subtle resistance, even if it's actually for the good of the company. Harry's moment of defiance against Aunt Marge's oppressive conformity is like that powerful burst of liberation you feel when someone in the U.S. decides to pursue a truly unconventional career path, despite family or societal pressure. Or when a student maybe embraces their unique, perhaps quirky interests, rather than just conforming to whatever's popular, that accidental inflation of Aunt Marge. It's the magical equivalent of a mic drop, a truly liberating, impactful declaration of self.
I like that. The magical mic drop. Okay, another powerful chapter analyzed. Remember, everyone, if you're finding these insights useful, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, next up, we hurtle into Chapter 3, the night bus. Literally hurtle.
Yeah, literally. After the whole Marge incident, Harry is essentially on the run. He's feeling lost, isolated, and he quite literally stumbles into the wizarding world's wild, chaotic side by summoning and boarding this lurching, magical marvel of a vehicle. It's such a jarring but really exciting shift in atmosphere.
What's absolutely brilliant here is J.K. Rowling's incredible ingenuity in creating this mode of transport. Our source, Unveiling Azkaban, calls it a whimsical creation inspired by London's iconic buses, and it truly is. It's this perfect, chaotic blend of the mundane and the magical.
Right. Taking something familiar like public transport
and injecting it with pure, unpredictable chaos and this fantastical urgency. It manages to be both hilariously over the top and completely vital to the plot, hurtling Harry toward safety, but, on its own wild terms. It's a journey that perfectly reflects the unexpected, sometimes terrifying twists Harry's life often takes.
You really feel Harry's burgeoning independence in this chapter too, don't you? And his sense of discovery. He's navigating this unknown world largely on his own for the first time since running away from the Dursleys.
Yeah, it's a big step.
It is. He's stepping out of the maybe sheltered environment of Hogwarts and even the relative safety of the Leaky Cauldron, entering a world both strange and familiar, but doing it autonomously. Making quick decisions, even if summoning the bus was accidental, that shape his immediate future. It's a moment of him having to step up and rely on his own instincts.
And it's just quintessential Rowling, isn't it?
Yeah.
With her charming nod to British eccentricity. The night bus feels uniquely British in its chaotic charm and its slightly haphazard efficiency. It grounds the fantastical elements in a very real, relatable, and even endearing sense of everyday life and sort of British character. It's fantastical, yet somehow entirely believable within the magical context.
Yeah.
Because it draws on those familiar cultural touchstones, like the double-decker buses, the slightly eccentric humor. It adds this layer of authenticity to the sheer absurdity of it all.
The journey itself is just pure, exhilarating chaos, isn't it? The way it lurches, twists, turns, speeds past buildings and traffic with impossible physics.
Yeah.
Beds sliding around.
Yeah, the shrunken heads.
Right. It perfectly symbolizes Harry's life at this point, full of unexpected turns, urgency, and a bit of controlled mayhem, all leading somewhere, hopefully safer. The speed and the unpredictability, they really reflect his current emotional state and the unfolding events of his third year.
It makes you think, doesn't it? This raises an interesting question for you, our listener. Think about some of the unique or maybe notoriously chaotic public transport systems in major U.S. cities.
Okay, like?
Well, imagine the New York City subway during rush hour, right? Crammed with people, sometimes delayed, sometimes taking unexpected routes, but always buzzing with this raw, unpredictable, almost living energy.
Yeah, definitely chaotic.
Or think about the historic cable cars in San Francisco, rattling their way up and down those incredibly steep hills, offering these thrilling, sometimes stomach-lurching rides. Now, add a layer of intense magic and extreme urgency, like you're literally fleeing from a dangerous, unseen threat, maybe even the Ministry of Magic. The night bus takes that familiar concept of a wild urban commute and just amplifies it to a magical extreme. It evokes that same feeling of being swept up in something bigger than yourself, a thrilling, sometimes unnerving journey that ultimately gets you where you need to go, albeit with a few bumps and magical detours along the way. It's the ultimate magical joyride, but with real stakes.
That's a perfect comparison. All right, another fascinating element unpacked. Don't forget, if you like what you're hearing, hit like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, so after that wild, dizzying ride on the night bus, Harry lands, quite literally, in Chapter 4, the Leaky Cauldron.
Finally, some stability.
Jish. He's finally reunited with Ron and Hermione in the familiar, bustling warmth of Diagon Alley, and there's this immediate sense of comfort, of relief washing over him.
Yes, you feel it.
But as you hinted, it's not all sunshine and butterbeer, is it? Those whispers of Sirius Black's escape are already casting this serious, unsettling shadow over their otherwise joyful reunion. The threat is there.
What's fascinating here is how Rowling masterfully balances those two very distinct atmospheres at the same time. Our source, Unveiling Azkaban, notes she weaves a cozy yet tense atmosphere, balancing friendship with foreboding. And that's exactly it. You feel the immense relief and joy of Harry being back with his best friends in a place that's really becoming like home to him. But then, almost immediately, that low hum of looming threat from Sirius Black starts to permeate the background. It reminds us that danger is always present, it seems, and can infiltrate even the seemingly safest of spaces. It creates this undercurrent of anxiety just beneath the surface of their happiness.
It really solidifies Diagon Alley and the Leaky Cauldron as a sense of home for Harry, doesn't it? With all its bustling magic, the familiar shop fronts, friendly faces, it offers him this fleeting but incredibly important sense of belonging and normalcy.
Yeah.
Such a stark contrast to Privet Drive. It's a sanctuary, a place of comfort, even if that sanctuary is now being subtly threatened by the news spreading through the wizarding world.
And it provides such a wonderful cultural grounding for the magical world, too. The Leaky Cauldron itself, it's such a clear and affectionate nod to British pub culture. Doesn't it feel like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It serves to root the fantastical world in something very relatable, very comforting from everyday British life. It's depicted as this community hub, a place where people gather, share news, find solace, discuss the day's events, much like a traditional pub in the UK. That attention to cultural detail just makes the wizarding world feel more tangible, more lived in, more authentic somehow.
Unveiling Azkaban also astutely mentions that the 1990s context hints at societal anxieties about safety, which is perfectly mirrored in the wizarding world's widespread unease about Black's escape. It's not just a magical threat specific to their world, it feels like it's tapping into a more universal human fear, right? Fear of crime, of unpredictability, of the breakdown of established order, which was definitely prevalent in many societies back then.
That resonates powerfully, I think. Imagine, for our listeners in the U.S., that beloved iconic local diner or coffee shop in your own town. You know the kind of place.
Yeah, the one with the squeaky booth in the corner.
Exactly.
Sure.
Where everyone knows your name, or at least your usual order, where you have your regular spot and the comforting aroma of coffee and maybe frying bacon is always in the air. It's more than just an eatery, it's a hub, a community gathering spot where life unfolds. Now, imagine a major unsettling news story, breaking light, maybe a local crime spree, or a widespread public health scare, something that affects everyone. And a sense of unease, even fear, starts to spread through that very community. People are still gathering there, still seeking comfort and routine, but the conversations are maybe a bit hushed. The news is discussed in anxious whispers, and this subtle tension hangs in the air.
Right.
The Leaky Cauldron embodies that feeling perfectly. A place of warmth, reunion, connection, suddenly filled with the low hum of communal anxiety about this escaped, dangerous criminal. It reflects that unsettling mix of the comforting familiar and the encroaching, uncertain disquiet.
That's a spot-on analogy. Okay, the plot thickens. If you're enjoying our deep dive, remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, let's unpack this next one. Chapter 5, The Dementor. This is an absolutely chilling and pivotal turning point. Not just for Harry's journey, but really for the entire series.
It feels like a significant shift, doesn't it?
Definitely. Harry is on the Hogwarts Express, just trying to get to school, and he has his first horrifying direct encounter with Dementors, those truly soul-sucking creatures that just plunge him into the most traumatic, raw memories of his parents' death. It's not just scary. It's profoundly brutal. It's deeply personal for Harry.
What's fascinating and incredibly impactful here is that this scene isn't merely about jump scares, is it? It's a truly haunting exploration of fear and trauma. The Dementors aren't just generic monsters. They are the physical, magical embodiment of despair, of hopelessness, of the stripping away of all joy.
That cold.
Exactly, that chilling cold. They force Harry to relive his deepest, most formative pain, the echoes of his parents' last moments, and it's emotionally devastating for him. This encounter is pivotal because it immediately highlights Harry's unique and profound vulnerability to them, a vulnerability directly linked to the immense trauma of his past. No one else on the train is affected quite as severely, which immediately sets him apart.
You really feel the absolute horror, the chilling bleakness of it, don't you? It's like a psychological assault. And Unveiling Azkaban gives us crucial insight into Rowling's creative inspiration here, which I think elevates the Dementors beyond just standard fantasy creatures.
Oh.
It reveals that the symbolism of Dementors was inspired by Rowling's own battles with depression, which means Dementors serve as this powerful, visceral metaphor for mental illness. This resonates profoundly with the growing 1990s mental health awareness, where conversations were slowly shifting towards destigmatization.
Wow. That adds such a powerful layer. It absolutely connects a fantastical element to a very real, profound human struggle. In the 1990s, there was indeed a growing public conversation around mental health, wasn't there? Moving, maybe slowly, but moving towards greater understanding and away from shame and silence.
Right. And the Dementors provide such a visceral, magical representation of what clinical depression can feel like, that draining of all joy and warmth, the overwhelming oppressive coldness, the reliving of painful memories, the feeling of being utterly consumed by despair. It's a brilliant way to make an abstract, often misunderstood internal state terrifyingly tangible for a really wide audience.
But even in that terrifying, desperate moment, there is a beacon of hope, of support. Professor Lupin is introduced here.
Our first glimpse of Lupin.
Yes. Stepping in with his remarkable composure and knowledge, his quiet strength offering hope is just so powerful and immediately reassuring in that chaos. He's calm, he's in control, and he immediately steps in to offer not just comfort, the chocolate helps, but a tangible solution, foreshadowing the crucial mentorship he'll provide Harry in battling these very internal demons, disguised as external threats.
It makes you think about how things have changed or are changing. This raises an important question for you, our listener. Consider the increased awareness and, hopefully, destigmatization of mental health struggles in the U.S. since the 1990s. We've certainly moved, or are trying to move, from often ignoring or shaming these experiences to a much greater understanding and openness about conditions like depression, anxiety, PTSD, other psychological challenges.
There's still a way to go, but yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Metaphors like the Dementors are incredibly effective because they give a tangible, albeit magical, face to these often invisible and difficult experiences. They help a wider audience grasp the overwhelming oppressive nature of deep emotional pain or trauma. Think about how maybe a critically acclaimed film or a powerful TV show might visually represent a character's internal struggle with anxiety, maybe depicting it as a physical burden or using distorted visuals. Or how a public awareness campaign might use a relatable image to explain the suffocating weight of depression. The Dementors do exactly that for the wizarding world. They make an abstract psychological state terrifyingly real and understandable. And, crucially, they underscore the vital importance of having supportive figures like Lupin in one's life.
Absolutely vital. Okay, a heavy but incredibly important chapter. If this discussion is resonating with you, please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And let's continue to the next chapter.
All right, let's move on to Chapter 6. Talons and tea leaves. Hogwarts classes are back in full swing.
Back to some semblance of normal. Well, Hogwarts normal.
Exactly. But things get wonderfully eccentrically weird in divination class, don't they? Especially with the unforgettable introduction of Professor Sybil Trelawney.
Oh, Professor Trelawney, what a character!
Isn't she just? Her dramatic, seemingly terrifying prediction of a grim in Harry's tea leaves sparks immediate fear and this unsettling sense of unease among the students. Sets a very specific tone.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how the chapter expertly dances between skepticism and fate. You, as the reader, and especially characters like Hermione.
Oh, Hermione has no time for it.
None at all. You're constantly questioning the validity of these prophecies and Trelawney's abilities. Is she a genuine, if maybe overly melodramatic, seer? Or simply a flamboyant, eccentric playing to a captive audience of teenagers? This inherent tension between what's foretold and what can be controlled, between destiny and free will, it's a powerful and recurring philosophical theme, isn't it? Not just in this book, but throughout the whole series. It forces us to ponder the nature of prophecy itself.
And Professor Trelawney herself is just such a singular character. Her quirky personality, her dramatically misty classroom setting filled with dim light, and that cloying incense.
Makes you sleepy just thinking about it.
Right. It all perfectly sets the tone for divination class. You're never quite sure whether to take her seriously or just kind of enjoy the show, which adds to the intrigue and the underlying sense of almost comedic mystery. She's a caricature, maybe, yet her pronouncements somehow hold undeniable weight, especially later on.
Unveiling Azkaban notes how Rowling really leans into folklore and mysticism here. She's drawing upon this rich tapestry of historical fortune-telling traditions, right? From interpreting tea leaves and crystal balls to palmistry. It gives the class a sense of ancient, mystical roots. Connects the magical world to real-world traditions people might vaguely know.
But it's also, as our source points out, done with a playful tone, rooted in 1990s fascination with mysticism. And that feels right, too. The 90s did see a significant surge in interest in alternative spiritualities, New Age practices, astrology, a general cultural curiosity about the unseen, the occult. Trelawney, with her theatricality and her reliance on these methods, she perfectly embodies that particular cultural moment.
That prediction of the Grimm, though, it's such a brilliant piece of dark foreshadowing, isn't it? It's not just a throwaway line. It immediately hangs over Harry like this ominous, canine-sheeped cloud. It creates this palpable sense of dread and builds suspense for the rest of the book. It immediately makes you, the listener, feel a sense of impending doom and wonder, okay, how is this dark omen going to manifest?
It really does land heavily. Which brings up an interesting point for you, our listener. Think about the enduring popularity of things like astrology, psychic readings, or various forms of fortune-telling in American culture. Despite, scientific skepticism, millions of people are drawn to these practices.
It's true. Horoscopes in magazines online.
Exactly. From daily horoscopes in major newspapers and magazines to psychic hotlines advertised on late-night TV, or even tarot card readers you might see at local fairs or find online. There seems to be this deep-seated human need for comfort, or maybe guidance, that people seek in such practices. We're fascinated by the idea of knowing what the future holds, even if we approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism, much like Hermione does with Professor Trelawney. It's that delicate balance, isn't it, between wanting to believe in fate and destiny, but also firmly believing we have the agency to control and shape our own lives. That tension makes these mystical predictive elements so enduringly popular and compelling.
A fascinating look at fate versus free will. Okay, let's keep exploring. If you're intrigued, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Moving on to Chapter 7, The Boggart in the Wardrobe. This is, I think, without a doubt, one of the most brilliant and insightful lessons in the entire series.
I agree. Professor Lupin's defense against the dark arts class introduces students to a Boggart, that fascinating shapeshifter that has the unique ability to embody and reveal their deepest, most personal fears.
Right in front of everyone.
Exactly. And then he teaches them the ingenious trick of turning it into something funny, something harmless, using the ridiculous charm, leading to this eruption of laughter that literally disarms the fear. It's genius.
What's truly masterful, and I think psychologically profound here, is Rowling's clever use of humor to combat fear. It's not just a funny scene. It's a deeply insightful and practical lesson in cognitive reframing, essentially.
Explain that a bit.
Well, it demonstrates a brilliant, actionable approach to overcoming anxieties. It suggests that by diminishing your fear, by making it ridiculous, absurd, you literally strip it of its power. You gain control over it. This insight applies universally, really. It shows how transforming your perspective can fundamentally alter your emotional response to something terrifying. It's a powerful psychological truth wrapped up in a really fun, magical lesson.
And it powerfully showcases Harry's inherent courage, doesn't it? Even when he's momentarily shielded from facing the Boggart's true form for him, and the incredible lesson in resilience that the Boggart provides for all the students. They're facing their deepest, most personal fears head-on, but with a practical, empowering tool, the spell that allows them to conquer it through imagination and courage. It's about empowering them not just with magic, but with a mindset.
Unveiling Azkaban points out that Rowling is drawing from a rich tradition of folklore shapeshifters to craft this universal lesson. Creatures that change form to reflect inner fears are found in myths and legends across countless cultures worldwide. The boggart is her unique and brilliant twist on that archetypal concept. But the core idea that fear is personal, often irrational, and can be confronted and diminished, that's timeless. And this entire scene is just a brilliant demonstration of Lupin's innovative and profoundly effective teaching style. It stands in such stark positive contrast to, well, say, Snape's often demoralizing and fear-based methods.
Right, huge contrast.
Lupin understands that true defense isn't just about knowing the right spells. It's about mental fortitude, about resilience.
So what does this all mean for us, the listener, beyond the magical context? It's that empowering idea, isn't it, of facing your fears and the transformative realization that even the most terrifying or intimidating things can be made less formidable when viewed differently or maybe infused with humor. It's about actively changing your perspective. It suggests we hold more power over our fears than we often realize.
Definitely. And this raises an important question for you, our listener. Think about therapeutic practices in the U.S. that actively encourage confronting fears in a controlled, safe environment, like exposure therapy for phobias, where patients gradually face what they fear.
Right, step by step.
Or cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which teaches patients to reframe negative thought patterns. The boggart lesson is kind of a magical, playful version of this, isn't it?
It really is.
Or just consider the profound power of comedy in everyday life to diffuse tension and address uncomfortable, often taboo truths. Stand-up comedians frequently tackle challenging social issues, personal anxieties, collective traumas by making them humorous, which allows an audience to confront them without being completely overwhelmed by their gravity. Just as Neville manages to transform the terrifying Professor Snape into his grandmother's ridiculous outfit.
That image still makes me laugh.
Right. We often find immense strength and psychological relief in finding the absurdity or the humor in our own anxieties. It makes them less terrifying, more manageable. It's a potent strategy for mental resilience.
Absolutely brilliant lesson. Okay, fear tackled with humor. If you're finding value here, please subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Now we come to Chapter 8, Flight of the Fat Lady. And the mood shifts dramatically again.
Oh, yeah. This is where Hogwarts' supposed impregnable safety, that fundamental assumption we've held for 2 whole books, is truly dramatically shattered. Sirius Black's violent breach of the castle, culminating in him slashing the fat lady's portrait. It immediately causes widespread fear and panic to grip the entire school. It's a very jarring, unsettling moment, especially coming after the more lighthearted humor of the boggart lesson.
What's profoundly impactful here is that sudden, violent breach of Hogwarts' protective barriers. Up until this point, Hogwarts has largely felt like this impenetrable sanctuary, right? A place of ultimate safety from external threats.
The safest place in the wizarding world, basically.
Exactly. This incident immediately and dramatically escalates the suspense and the pervasive sense of danger. It makes the threat of Sirius Black incredibly real, palpable, and immediate. He's inside, right there inside the supposedly safe ancient walls of the school. The idea that a secure place is no longer secure is deeply unsettling.
It truly highlights the vulnerability, doesn't it? Not just of the young students, but of the staff, too, and indeed the very infrastructure of the castle, the portraits themselves. It forces everyone, from the first years huddled in the Great Hall to the most seasoned professors like Dumbledore, to question the integrity of their defenses, to wonder how such a breach could possibly occur. This isn't just an external threat that can be kept outside the walls anymore. It's an internal breach, a violation that hits right at the heart of their security, their sense of peace.
Exactly. The growing dread that permeates the school after this shocking attack is almost palpable. It's no longer just hushed whispers in the corridors or scary headlines in the Daily Prophet about an escaped convict. It's a physical manifestation of fear that has invaded their most sacred space. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Unveiling Azkaban suggests that the 1990s backdrop of rising security concerns in the real world echoes powerfully in Hogwarts' heightened defenses and the general atmosphere of unease. Think about how real-world events or cultural shifts can lead to increased security measures in schools or public places, reflecting a growing collective anxiety about safety.
That makes sense. So what does this all mean for us, our listeners, in our everyday lives? It's that incredibly unsettling feeling, isn't it? That gut punch when a place you consider absolutely safe, maybe your home, your school, your workplace, or even a cherished community space, is suddenly unexpectedly breached.
Yeah, that violation.
It's that rapid, jarring shift from comfort and complacency to vigilance, unease, and a pervasive sense of insecurity. It makes you look at familiar surroundings with new, wary eyes. Nothing feels quite the same.
It definitely changes things. And this raises an important question for you, our listener. Consider how real-world security concerns in the U.S., particularly during the 1990s, for instance, the growing awareness of school safety issues that unfortunately led to increased security measures, how that could powerfully parallel the escalating alarm and defensive measures taken at Hogwarts.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about the increased implementation of things like security cameras, locked doors, visitor sign-in procedures, maybe even metal detectors or mandatory emergency drills in American schools during that era and continuing today, all often in direct response to concerns about safety and potential external or internal threats. The Fat Lady incident transforms Hogwarts from this idyllic, seemingly invulnerable safe haven into a fortress under siege. It requires protective measures, Dementors patrolling the grounds eventually, and fosters this constant sense of alert. Much like how communities in the U.S. might adapt their public spaces and daily routines in response to perceived threats, fundamentally changing how people interact with once familiar and seemingly secure environments. The feeling of safety erodes.
A very sobering parallel. Okay, the danger is officially inside. If you're following along and finding this deep dive engaging, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
All right, let's move to Chapter 9. Grim Defeat. This chapter centers around a Quidditch match, but it's no ordinary fun-filled game.
No, definitely not. During a stormy, really intense match, Dementors suddenly invade the pitch to swarm it, causing Harry to relive his trauma and plummet from his broomstick in a horrifying fall. It's a truly terrifying moment that pushes Harry to his absolute limits, but also, weirdly, showcases his remarkable grit and resilience even in defeat.
What's truly compelling here is how Rowling masterfully blends the exhilarating, high-octane action of a competitive sport with sudden, terrifying, and deeply personal danger. One moment, you're completely swept up in the thrilling aerial acrobatics and the strategy of the game, cheering with the crowd.
Yeah, feeling the excitement.
And the next, you're plunged into Harry's deepest, most debilitating fear as the Dementor's cold presence just overwhelms him completely. It's an incredibly effective way to demonstrate the persistent, insidious threat of the Dementors and, by extension, the lurking danger posed by Sirius Black. The trauma Harry experiences isn't confined to dark corridors or nightmares. It invades even moments of potential joy and triumph.
And despite the Dementor's overwhelming and debilitating effect on him, despite the physical and emotional collapse, Harry's fundamental resilience, his determination, are absolutely highlighted. He might fall, he might struggle profoundly, but his underlying spirit remains unbroken. It reinforces that fundamental strength of his character, the core of his heroism, which allows him to eventually get back up and continue fighting, even when faced with his greatest vulnerability. This isn't just about losing a game, it's about surviving a deeply personal attack.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Quidditch itself, Rowling's brilliant invented sport, which Unveiling Azkaban notes was inspired by British athletics, it pulses with energy and dramatic potential. It's not just a game played for fun, it's a high-stakes arena where critical plot events often unfold, providing this dynamic and thrilling backdrop for moments of both collective triumph and, as we see here, profound personal vulnerability for Harry. The structured chaos of Quidditch kind of mirrors the unpredictable challenges of Harry's life.
What's particularly striking here, and really hammers home the Dementor point, is that even in his elements, soaring confidently on a broomstick, surrounded by the cheering crowd, doing what he loves most, Harry remains uniquely and disproportionately vulnerable to the Dementors.
Yeah, it hits him harder than anyone.
Exactly. It consistently reinforces the severity of his past trauma, the loss of his parents, and how deeply and uniquely it affects him compared to others. It's a constant, painful reminder of the internal battle he's fighting, even when he appears externally triumphant or skilled.
It makes you think about parallels in our world. This raises an interesting question for you, our listener. Compare the intensity and danger of a Quidditch match, specifically this one, to a major American sporting event where the stakes are incredibly high and unexpected, dramatic turns can occur.
Okay, like a championship game.
Right. Think about a nail-biting Super Bowl or maybe an NBA Finals game where the roar of the crowd is deafening, the athleticism is extraordinary, and every single play carries immense weight. Now, imagine a sudden, completely unexpected external factor, maybe extreme weather like in the book, or perhaps a debilitating injury to a key player completely disrupts the flow and potentially the outcome of the game, changing everything in an instant. Just as Harry faces the terrifying Dementors mid-match, causing his near-fatal fall, this scenario highlights the hero's struggle amidst utter chaos, where their personal battle, perhaps against a hidden injury or past trauma resurfacing under pressure, suddenly intertwines with the public spectacle, revealing their deep-seated vulnerabilities right at the peak of their performance.
That's a powerful image. Okay, a tough chapter for Harry. If you appreciate this analysis, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Moving on to Chapter 10, The Marauder's Map. Ah, yes.
This is where we're introduced to one of the most iconic, beloved, and just ingeniously magical artifacts in the entire series. It's this mysterious map that, with a simple phrase,
I solemnly swear.
exactly, reveals Hogwarts' deepest secrets, its hidden passages, and the movements of everyone within its walls. It connects Harry in this unexpected way to his parents' past and sparks just pure wonder for him and honestly for us as readers, too.
What's absolutely fascinating here is the Marauder's Map itself.
Yeah.
It's far more than just a cool gadget or, a convenient plot device. It's a magical marvel that literally unveils secrets in a deeply personal and far-reaching way. It doesn't just show hidden passages and the real-time movements of people within Hogwarts.
Which is amazing enough.
Right, but it also reveals identities hidden by things like Polyjuice Potion or Animagus Forms, as we later learn. It offers this unprecedented level of insight, a true sense of magical surveillance almost within the castle. It's pure magical ingenuity, and it immediately captivates anyone who lays eyes on it. You just want one.
Oh, absolutely. And it's absolutely drenched in layers of mischief and legacy. The map is intrinsically tied to the untold stories and the daring adventures of Harry's parents' generation, James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew, the Marauders. It hints at the pranks they pulled, the rules they bent, the secret places they explored, and the deeper bonds they forged. It adds so many rich, compelling layers to their past, making them more than just names in a tragic story. They become real, mischievous teenagers.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Unveiling Azkaban points out that the map's inherent rebellious spirit powerfully echoes 1990s youth culture, which is an interesting take.
How so?
Well, think about it. There was a palpable cultural fascination then, maybe still is, with uncovering hidden truths, challenging authority, finding alternative ways to navigate established systems, and asserting individuality against conformity. The Marauder's Map is the ultimate tool for that. It's about subverting rules, seeing what's really going on behind the scenes, gaining that insider's perspective. It embodies a spirit of clever, almost mischievous defiance against the establishment.
That makes perfect sense. The sheer wonder and allure of this map are just incredible. Every time it's used, every time I solemnly swear that I am up to no good is uttered, you're just as captivated and amazed as Harry is. It quickly becomes an object of immense desire and importance, not just for practical purposes sneaking around, but for its connection to this mysterious past. And it's such a brilliant piece of masterful foreshadowing, isn't it? Directly tying into the eventual shocking reveal of the Marauders themselves and their complex history.
Absolutely crucial foreshadowing. Which brings us to this thought for you, our listener. Think about the enduring appeal of insider knowledge or hacks in U.S. youth culture today.
Oh yeah, that's huge online.
Right, from secret menus at popular fast food chains, to hidden levels and Easter eggs in video games, or even just knowing the best shortcuts through a city, or clever ways to navigate, say, bureaucratic systems online. There's a powerful and pervasive desire for a competitive edge, or maybe just a deeper, privileged understanding of one's environment. The Marauder's Map taps directly into that universal desire. It's the ultimate cheat code for Hogwarts, giving Harry an almost omniscient advantage and connecting him to this hidden legacy of clever rebellion and profound friendship. It's the fantasy of having a map to life's hidden pathways, where you know all the secrets, all the shortcuts, and can navigate any situation with an almost all-knowing awareness. Who wouldn't want that?
Seriously, what a fantastic magical object. Okay, secrets revealed. If you're enjoying the uncovering of these layers, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Next up, Chapter 11, The Firebolt. Oh, the sheer excitement of this one is just palpable, isn't it?
It really is. It's Christmas time at Hogwarts, and this dazzling state-of-the-art firebolt broom arrives anonymously for Harry. It ignites this incredible joy and awe. but almost immediately it's shrouded in intense suspicion. This chapter brilliantly explores those intertwined themes of trust, suspicion, and maybe even a touch of envy among the friends.
What's fascinating here is that initial pure delight Harry feels. You have to remember, he's just recently lost his beloved Nimbus 2000 in that terrifying Dementor encounter during the Quidditch match.
Right, it's splintered into pieces.
Exactly. And suddenly, the fastest, most advanced broom in the world appears out of nowhere, seemingly tailor-made for him. But that soaring joy is immediately, and quite sharply, contrasted with the intense suspicion surrounding its anonymous delivery. Who sent it? And maybe more importantly, why? This mystery just casts the shadow over what should be a moment of pure, unadulterated happiness for him.
And this mystery creates a fantastic, albeit pretty tense, conflict among Harry, Ron, and Hermione. The very trust that binds their friendship is genuinely tested here, isn't it? Especially when Hermione's deeply practical and, frankly, quite sensible concerns about the broom's suspicious origin clash sharply with Harry's understandable eagerness and Ron's almost fierce defensiveness of the amazing gift.
Yeah, Ron just wants Harry to have it.
Right. It perfectly highlights how much Hermione genuinely cares for Harry's safety, though. Even if her cautious nature occasionally comes across as overly skeptical or maybe a bit of a killjoy to her friends in that moment, she's worried it's jinxed or cursed.
And reasonably so, given the circumstances. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Unveiling Azkaban notes that the festive holiday mood in this chapter is firmly grounded in British Christmas traditions. The firebolt arriving as a Christmas gift, wrapped in the joy and mystery of the season, perfectly captures that unique blend of holiday cheer and the ever-present underlying tension of the wizarding world at this time. It's a magical Christmas, sure, but one where even gifts carry potential danger.
And what's truly striking is how the firebolt, which should be a source of just pure joy and excitement for Harry, almost immediately becomes a tangible symbol of the persistent danger from Sirius Black. It's initially, and quite logically, suspected by Hermione and McGonagall to be a poisoned gift, a trap sent by him. It makes even this wonderful, most coveted of gifts a source of dread and anxiety. It just shows how deeply Black's escape and the ongoing threat have permeated their lives, coloring every new development with suspicion.
It really does. Which leads to this thought for you, our listener. Reflect on the experience of receiving an incredibly expensive or highly desirable gift from an unknown or mysterious source in a modern U.S. context. Imagine someone you know suddenly receives, say, a brand new, top-of-the-line sports car delivered to their driveway, or an exquisite piece of jewelry turns up in the mail, or maybe an all-expenses-paid luxury trip voucher arrives with absolutely no sender attached and no explanation.
Right. The dream, but also...
Good. Exactly. The immediate reaction after the initial shock and excitement would undoubtedly be a complex mixture of thrill, speculation, and a healthy dose of suspicion, wouldn't it? Who sent it? Is it a prank? Is there some hidden agenda? A catch? The firebolt taps into that same profound human reaction. The sheer joy of the gift, but also the immediate unease and suspicion, leading to questions of trust and potential hidden dangers, especially when a known, formidable threat like Sirius Black is lurking in the background.
A perfect encapsulation of the mood. All right, joy mixed with suspicion. If you're finding this breakdown insightful, remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, Chapter 12, The Patronus. This is such a crucial, truly transformative chapter for Harry. It offers him a powerful new tool and us, the readers, a profound insight into his resilience and inner strength.
Yes. Harry begins to learn the complex and profoundly personal Patronus charm, which is all about summoning pure, defensive light against the Dementor's soul-crushing despair. And through it all, Professor Lupin's wise, unwavering mentorship truly shines through here. He's such a good teacher.
Isn't he? What's deeply fascinating and emotionally resonant here is Rowling's profound conceptualization of hope and memory as the very core components of the Patronus charm. It's not just a magical incantation like Wingardium Leviosa. It's a living embodiment of these abstract yet incredibly powerful human concepts. You literally fight off soul-sucking dread and despair by actively summoning and focusing on your happiest, most powerful memories. It's a brilliant, tangible, magical antidote to overwhelming emotional pain, a shield made of joy.
And Unveiling Azkaban points out something really interesting here, that the very concept of the Patronus, a magical spell fueled by positive emotion, was inspired by 1990s positive psychology, which was a burgeoning field at the time.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it? Positive psychology offers practical, tangible ways to combat negative emotions and build resilience, which aligns perfectly with the spell's function.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
The 1990s saw this growing interest in things like cognitive behavioral therapy, the power of mindset, focusing on human strengths rather than just pathology. The Patronus is the perfect magical metaphor for these real-world psychological strategies. It's about actively cultivating, recalling, and focusing on internal, positive resources, joy, love, hope to overcome devastating external and internal negativity and trauma. And Lupin's role as Harry's wise, patient, and deeply supportive mentor is absolutely invaluable here. He doesn't just teach Harry the spell, he guides him through the difficult emotional and psychological landscape necessary to master it. He understands the unique depth of Harry's internal struggle against his trauma, his past.
It truly highlights Harry's immense internal battle, doesn't it? The charm requires summoning the happiest, most powerful memory, and for Harry, given his profound and repeated losses, that's not always easy. Finding that pure, untainted joy.
It's a real struggle for him initially.
It is. He has to dig deep, sometimes reliving painful moments, even to find the purest joy associated with them, like hearing his parents' voices. It powerfully shows the incredible mental and emotional effort it takes for him to fight off his trauma and create this protective light.
It's a profound concept, and it raises an important question for you, our listener. Consider the rapid rise and widespread adoption of mindfulness practices and positive thinking in U.S. wellness culture today.
It's everywhere now.
It really is. From meditation apps guiding users through gratitude exercises to self-help books promoting resilience and optimism, there's a strong emphasis on cultivating internal strength to navigate life's inevitable challenges. The Patronus charm can be seen as a magical, almost archetypal representation of these very real-world strategies for mental and emotional resilience. It teaches us that even in the darkest, most despairing moments, actively cultivating positive thoughts and memories can be a remarkably powerful defense. And just as importantly, that having a compassionate, understanding mentor to guide you through personal challenges, whether it's a therapist, a teacher, a coach, or just a trusted friend, is incredibly important for developing such profound internal resources.
Finding light in the darkness. Literally, a truly beautiful and powerful chapter. Okay, Hope Ignited. If you value this exploration, please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
All right, Chapter 13. Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw. After all the tension, the Dementor lessons, the fear, we get a much-needed return to the thrilling competitive world of Quidditch.
Yes, some high-flying action. Rivalry soars Harry, now confidently riding his magnificent new firebolt, which McGonagall finally returned.
After thorough testing.
Very thorough testing.
Yeah.
He faces immense pressure, but also experiences immense pride in a really thrilling, high-energy match.
What's truly fascinating here is how Rowling brilliantly captures the sheer excitement and collective energy of teamwork and triumph within a high-stakes sporting event. It's a moment of collective purpose, fierce competition, and shared exhilaration. It offers a welcome, if temporary, reprieve from the constant looming threat of Sirius Black and the lingering chill of the Dementors. It reminds us of the joy and camaraderie inherent in friendly competition within the school.
And it's a scene deeply rooted in British school sports traditions, isn't it? Unveiling Azkaban mentions this. Rowling draws on those familiar competitive elements from boarding school life to infuse the narrative with an infectious competitive energy and a strong sense of house spirit. You feel the intensity of the rivalry, the pride in the house colors, the roar of the crowd. It's all very tangible and immersive, making the magical sport feel grounded in real-world athletic traditions.
Harry's performance on the Firebolt in this match is truly a moment for him to shine, isn't it? To demonstrate his prowess in his favorite arena. His remarkable skill and newfound confidence on the fastest broom in the world are solidified not just for his teammates in the Gryffindor common room, but for the entire school community watching.
Yeah, he's unbeatable on that thing.
Pretty much. It reinforces his role as a key player and a hero, reminding everyone of his incredible talent and his ability to perform under pressure, especially after his previous traumatic fall. It's a moment of pure, unadulterated joy in flight and athletic achievement for him.
And you really feel the intense pressure on Harry and the Gryffindor team to win, don't you? There's this palpable anticipation from the crowd, the weight of house pride. And when they do well, the collective pride in their performance and every well-executed play or goal, it's a true shared celebration. It's a great example how competitive sports can bring a community together, fostering a powerful sense of unity and shared identity.
It absolutely can, which leads to this thought for you, our listener. Compare the intensity of this Quidditch match to a major high school or college sports rivalry in the U.S.
Okay, like Friday Night Lights.
Exactly. Think about the palpable tension and roaring excitement of a Friday night football game under the stadium lights in a small, sports-obsessed Texas town where the entire community rallies. Or maybe a heated basketball matchup between rival universities during a pivotal conference tournament, or March Madness.
The energy is huge.
Huge. School spirit reaches a fever pitch, the entire community rallies behind their team, and the individual standout performance of a star player can electrify the crowd and lift spirits. This Quidditch match evokes that same powerful feeling of intense school pride, raw competitive energy, and the unique thrill of watching someone you support excel under immense pressure, proving their worth on the field, or in this case, way up in the air.
A great victory for Gryffindor. Okay, exhilarating stuff. If you're enjoying the ride, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Moving on to Chapter 14, Snape's Grudge. Ugh, Snape.
Yeah. This chapter dives deeper into Professor Snape's already complex and, let's be honest, often cruel bitterness toward Harry. A resentment that only seems to deepen as the narrative progresses, clearly fueled by old wounds and unresolved past conflicts. It truly adds another layer of intense, simmering tension to the atmosphere at Hogwarts. You just feel it whenever he's around Harry.
What's fascinating here, though maybe frustrating too, is Rowling's nuanced exploration of resentment and loyalty within the Hogwarts staff and student body. Snape's feelings toward Harry are not just random, inexplicable animosity or a simple dislike, are they?
No, there's history there.
Deep history. They're deeply personal, profoundly rooted in his complicated past with Harry's father, James Potter. This enduring grudge powerfully highlights the long-lasting, often toxic impact of past conflicts and rivalries. It shows how they can shape present-day relationships in destructive ways, even across generations.
It's a perfect, almost painful example of generational conflicts playing out in real time. Unveiling Azkaban notes that Rowling's 1990s lens reflects generational conflicts as Snape's unresolved past with Harry's father directly and unfairly impacts his treatment of Harry. It's a tragic demonstration of how the sins of the father, or at least the perceived slights and rivalries from school days, can unfortunately be visited upon the son, creating this inherited conflict that Harry is utterly unaware of, at least at this point.
And it adds incredible character complexity to Snape, doesn't it? We're not just seeing him as a one-dimensional, maybe pantomime villain anymore, solely dedicated to tormenting Harry. His pervasive bitterness and deep-seated animosity hint at a truly troubled past and complicated, unspoken motivations that we, the readers, don't fully understand yet. This ambiguity makes him a much more intriguing, morally gray, and compelling character, forcing us to constantly reevaluate our perceptions of him. Is he just me, or is there more?
You keep wondering. This chapter effectively keeps that simmering, unresolved conflict between Snape and Harry alive and central to the narrative, contributing significantly to the overall tension at Hogwarts. You're always on edge when they're in the same room, wondering when and how this deeply personal animosity will finally boil over, or what hidden depths it might reveal. It's a source of constant discomfort and suspense.
It really is. Which raises an important question for you, our listener. Discuss how unresolved conflicts or deeply entrenched caste rivalries, maybe in a professional workplace, or a close-knit community setting in the U.S., can create enduring personal grudges.
Okay, like office politics.
Exactly. Imagine two colleagues who had a significant professional falling out years ago, maybe over a project or a promotion. And now, even when working on completely unrelated things, there's this palpable, unspoken tension, a passive-aggressive dynamic that just impacts team morale and productivity.
Yeah, makes things awkward for everyone.
Or consider bitter rivalries between old high school classmates who now run competing businesses in the same small town, where every interaction is tinged with past slights or jealousies from decades ago. Snape's intense grudge against Harry is a magical exaggeration of this very real human phenomenon, where past grievances continue to shape present-day interactions and create palpable, often uncomfortable, and deeply complex tension for everyone involved. It's hard to let go sometimes.
Very true. The past casting long shadows. Okay, more complexity. If you're appreciating this character analysis, remember to like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Next up is Chapter 15, the Quidditch Final. Yes, another high-octane Quidditch match, but this one carries even higher stakes. It's the final.
The big one. It's a thrilling, electrifying narrative that truly tests Harry's courage, skill, and nerve amid fierce inter-house rivalry. It feels like a real culmination of all the previous sporting events, all the practice, all the tension.
What's truly masterful here is Rowling's incredible ability to craft an electrifying narrative, which Unveiling Azkaban notes is clearly inspired by sports culture. She knows precisely how to make these matches feel incredibly important and dramatic, not just for the immediate outcome of the House Cup, but for the larger emotional arcs of the characters, particularly Harry. The pacing, the vivid descriptions of the dives and dodges, Lee Jordan's commentary, it all combines to create a truly immersive, edge-of-your-seat experience.
The high stakes are undeniable in this match. This isn't just about winning the House Cup, though that's huge for Gryffindor. It's a colossal moment for Harry's personal journey, his growing confidence, and his ability to perform under immense pressure, especially after the terrifying Dementor incident earlier in the season. Winning this match is a vital morale boost for him and for the entire Gryffindor house, reaffirming his role as a champion, as their star seeker.
And Harry truly demonstrates remarkable courage under pressure here, doesn't he? But in a different, equally demanding arena. He's not fighting a dark wizard directly in this moment, but he's facing the intense pressure of a championship competition, the weight of expectations from his entire house, and maybe even the lingering mental and emotional shadow of the Dementors, or at least the pressure that could attract them. His unwavering ability to perform at his absolute best when everything is on the line, to push past his fears and deliver, it's a profound testament to his inherent heroism, even in sports.
The chapter also brilliantly depicts the fierce rivalry and sportsmanship, well, mostly rivalry, that defines Hogwarts Quidditch. You feel the intense competitive spirit between the houses, Gryffindor versus Slytherin, the desire to win at all costs, the dirty tactics.
Yeah, Slytherin plays dirty.
They do, but it's still firmly within the framework of magical sports, with its own unique rules, traditions, and an underlying sense of shared passion for the game itself. It's intensely competitive, but ultimately a display of incredible skill and bravery.
Absolutely. Which brings us to this thought for you, our listener. Use the excitement and profound significance of a major high school championship game like maybe a state football final or a regional basketball tournament in a small, close-knit U.S. town as a powerful analogy for the Quidditch final's intensity and community impact.
Okay.
Imagine the entire town practically shutting down to watch or listen to the game, the local diner broadcasting it with bated breath, the overwhelming emotional investment of parents, students, alumni, local businesses. Everyone's wearing the school colors.
Mm-hmm. Total town pride.
Right. The Quidditch final evokes that same powerful collective anticipation, the deafening roar of the crowd, the dramatic game-changing plays that make you jump out of your seat, and the immense satisfaction of a hard-won victory that boosts the morale of an entire community, carrying that feeling of triumph and shared glory long after the final whistle blows. It's a unifying, almost sacred event in that context.
Gryffindor wins the cup. Finally! An amazing, triumphant moment. Okay, pure excitement. If you felt the thrill of the game with us, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Okay, Chapter 16. Professor Trelawney's Prediction. And just when things seem settled after the Quidditch final.
Right, the mood shifts again. This is where things take a truly unsettling, chilling turn, escalating the underlying tension in the narrative dramatically. Amidst all her usual eccentricities during Harry's divination exam, a seemingly genuine, chilling prophecy from Professor Trelawney suddenly bursts forth in a completely different voice.
Yeah, that's the creepy part.
It hints at truly dark, imminent events involving Voldemort's servant returning. This moment profoundly shakes Harry's world, weaving fate and mystery together in a very unsettling way. It feels different from her usual pronouncements.
What's truly compelling here is how Rowling weaves fate and mystery into the fabric of the story, using Trelawney's chilling prophecy, delivered in that strange, harsh voice, completely unlike her usual theatrical one, to heighten suspense and suggest an inevitable dark future that seems to be closing in fast. It's a moment that makes you, the reader, pause and deeply question how much control characters truly have over their destinies, and how much is already predetermined by forces beyond their comprehension. Is Pettigrew's escape inevitable now?
And it draws heavily on ancient literary traditions of prophecy and oracle figures, doesn't it? From the cryptic pronouncements of the Oracle of Delphi in ancient Greek mythology to the ominous foretellings of the witches in Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Right, double toil and trouble.
Exactly. Prophecies have always been a powerful narrative device used to foreshadow events, build dramatic tension, and hint at the tragic or triumphant arcs of heroes. Rowling skillfully taps into this timeless tradition here, giving it her own unique spin.
And this unexpected and surprisingly genuine-sounding prophecy from a character often dismissed and even mocked for her eccentricities and seemingly false predictions. It deeply unsettles Harry. It lands with a profound impact precisely because it comes from such an unlikely source. It makes it feel even more impactful and credible than if it had come from someone more respected, like Dumbledore.
That's a good point.
It's not just another vague divination class prediction about dark times ahead. This one feels incredibly real, specific about the servant returning tonight. It plants deep seeds of doubt and fear in Harry's mind.
And crucially, this specific clear prophecy directly sets up the dramatic climactic events of the book that are about to unfold. It's not just a standalone, intriguing moment. It's a vital, unambiguous piece of the puzzle that actively prepares us for the shocking revelations and confrontations that are literally just around the corner, confirming that Trelawney, despite everything, does possess occasional genuine foresight. It's real.
It definitely feels real. Which raises an interesting question for you, our listener. Discuss how ominous predictions or dire warnings, even those initially dismissed as fringe, unbelievable, or from an unreliable source, can sometimes grip public imagination or create widespread unease in communities in the U.S.
Like?
Well, think about popular culture examples, like the premonitions and disaster movies that initially go ignored by the authorities until it's too late. Or even historical moments where maybe a visionary leader's dire warnings about, say, an economic collapse or an impending conflict were initially met with skepticism or outright dismissal, but later gained terrifying traction as events unfolded, proving their foresight.
Right, the Cassandra complex.
Exactly. Professor Trelawney's prophecy, coming from an often ignored source, reminds us how even seemingly far-fetched premonitions or just a powerful gut feeling can cast a long shadow. It can compel people to reevaluate their beliefs, question their security, and even perhaps unconsciously prepare for the seemingly inevitable, whether it's a coming storm, a major societal shift, or, in Harry's case, the return of Voldemort's servant.
A truly chilling moment setting the stage. Okay, the plot is about to explode. If you're on the edge of your seat, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
And explode it does.
Ooh.
Let's move on to Chapter 17. Cat, Rat, and Dog. This is it. This is the absolute whirlwind of revelations, the explosive turning point of the entire book.
Everything changes here.
Everything. This chapter is where Sirius Black's true, tragic story is finally unveiled, where a hidden traitor's deceit is brutally exposed, and where our entire understanding of loyalty, betrayal, and justice is completely, utterly redefined. It all happens so fast in the Shrieking Shack.
What's truly masterful here is Rowling's brilliant use of masterful twists, which Unveiling Azkaban explicitly states echo 1990s thrillers. And it feels like that, doesn't it? She completely upends the reader's long-held understanding of events and characters. Everything you thought you knew about Sirius Black, his supposed villainy, his motives, and about the long-lost, supposedly heroic Peter Pettigrew. It's dramatically, satisfyingly, and shockingly turned on its head. It's pure storytelling genius, a revelation that recontextualizes everything that came before it in the book.
It forces a complete, painful reevaluation of loyalty. The established lines between good and evil, hero and villain, they become completely blurred. Who is truly loyal? Who is the real villain? The chapter makes you question appearances, long-held beliefs, the very motives behind past actions. It demands a radical shift in perspective, both from Harry and from the reader.
This is the dramatic, agonizing unveiling of long-held secrets and the exposure of a hidden traitor, Peter Pettigrew's Scabbers, the Rat, who is presumed dead and even celebrated as a hero getting an Order of Merlin.
Unbelievable.
His treachery, his cowardice, and the simultaneous exoneration of Sirius Black, who was unjustly imprisoned in Azkaban for over a decade for Pettigrew's crimes, is a powerful, gut-wrenching moment where truth and deceit collide with devastating consequences. It's the moment the main conflict of the book fully reveals its true, complex, and deeply tragic nature.
What's profoundly impactful here is that this chapter marks the absolute, undeniable turning point of the entire book. It irrevocably shifts the narrative's focus from Sirius Black as the presumed terrifying villain to the true betrayer, the pathetic, cowardly Peter Pettigrew. It completely alters the trajectory of the narrative and sets up the true nature of the lingering threat from Voldemort's followers. It's the moment the pieces finally, shockingly, fall into place.
It's such a huge reveal, which raises an interesting question for you, our listener. Consider a real-world scenario, maybe a community mystery, a long-unsolved true crime case that captivated the nation, or even a deep-seated historical injustice where a long-held assumption or public consensus about a person or event is dramatically overturned by new, undeniable evidence.
like DNA evidence exonerating someone after decades.
Exactly. Think about a cold case suddenly being solved after decades, revealing an unsuspected culprit who is maybe hiding in plain sight. Or a historical figure whose heroic reputation is completely reevaluated years later due to newly discovered documents or perspectives that paint a very different picture. The cat, rat, and dog chapter delivers that same seismic shock. It forces a complete reevaluation of the facts, making you question everything you thought you knew about appearances and motives, and it powerfully demonstrates the profound, often painful impact of truth finally coming to light, no matter how long it has been suppressed or hidden.
The truth will out, as they say. Eventually. What a chapter. Okay, the big reveal. If your mind was blown too, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter. And then, Chapter 18, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Trongs. Oh, this one. This one just makes you feel all the feels, doesn't it?
It really does. After the shock and the intensity of the previous chapter and the Shrieking Shack, the full, poignant story of the Marauders' past finally unfolds. Lupin and Sirius explaining everything to Harry, Ron, and Hermione. It paints this vivid picture of their friendship, their secrets, their struggles. This deeply ties Harry to his parents' legacy in a way he never could have imagined, evoking powerful themes of friendship, loyalty, and ultimately tragic sacrifice.
What's so profoundly moving here is Rowling's nostalgic storytelling, which Unveiling Azkaban describes as rooted in 1970s youth culture. And it feels like that. She paints this incredibly vivid, almost cinematic picture of the Marauders' vibrant friendship, James Potter, Prongs, Sirius Black, Padfoot, Remus Lupin, Moony, and Peter Pettigrew, Wormtail.
Oh, Wormtail.
Right. It's a look back at a different, almost idyllic era of Hogwarts, full of adventure, youthful rebellion, learning illegal magic to help a friend, and forging seemingly unbreakable bonds. It provides this rich emotional backstory to the characters we're just getting to know or re-know in the present.
You truly feel the deep bonds of friendship and sacrifice that define these characters, well, most of them. The fierce loyalty they had for each other becoming an emoji for Lupin, the adventures they shared exploring the grounds, and the ultimately tragic sacrifices made for one another. Their youthful camaraderie makes the eventual betrayal by Pettigrew and the subsequent suffering feel all the more heartbreaking.
This chapter is absolutely crucial for understanding Harry's legacy. It deeply, irrevocably connects him to his parents' history and their closest circle of friends. It provides a much-needed understanding of the context for his own life and the monumental struggles he's facing. He learns that he wasn't just the orphan son of heroes. He was the son of Prongs, godson of Padfoot, friend of Moony. He had this incredible, brave, and deeply loyal lineage, which provides him with a new sense of identity and belonging, even amidst the tragedy.
And it's here that we finally get the full, satisfying unveiling of the Marauders' map's true origin. Remember that.
Yes. Full circle.
That mysterious, rebellious, and infinitely useful object we've come to love is explained in detail, revealing its brilliant creators, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, and their ingenious, mischievous minds. It ties a beloved magical artifact directly to Harry's family history, to his father and his friends.
This chapter is absolutely brimming with emotional depth. Understanding the past lives, the shared adventures, the inside jokes implied by the map's greeting, and the ultimate tragic fates of James, Sirius, Lupin, and Peter. It adds a profound, bittersweet layer to the entire Harry Potter saga. You experience the joy and vibrancy of their youth, but also the deep sadness of the betrayal and the subsequent tragedies that ultimately befell them, shaping the world Harry inherited.
It's incredibly moving. So what does this all mean for us, the listener, in our own lives? It's that bittersweet, often poignant feeling, isn't it, of learning about the past lives and friendships of those you admire, maybe your parents, your grandparents, or cherished mentors.
Yeah, hearing their old stories.
Exactly. And how their history, their adventures, their sacrifices, the choices they made ultimately shape your own present and influence your identity. It's about discovering the rich tapestry of the past that informs your present, the good and the bad.
It really is. Which raises an important question for you, our listener. Discuss the concept of generational legacies within families or close-knit groups in the U.S. Think about how stories from your parents' or grandparents' youth, maybe their friendships in high school, their college adventures, the challenges and triumphs they faced growing up, how those stories can profoundly shape your own identity and experiences. You might find yourself sharing similar traits, maybe facing similar dilemmas, or even finding immense inspiration in their camaraderie, their youthful idealism, their perhaps slightly foolish but audacious adventures. The Marauder's story is a powerful, magical example of how those narratives from the past can define the present, making you feel more connected to your lineage and the complex, often heroic, but sometimes tragic legacy you carry forward.
Beautifully put. The past revealed. If you're moved by the Marauder's story, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
Next, Chapter 19, The Servant of Lord Voldemort. Phew. This is where the profound implications of the Marauder's story, the betrayal, become devastatingly clear and immediate. Truth and treachery truly collide in this chapter. Loyalties are tested to their absolute breaking point, and Rowling brilliantly continues her exploration of complex moral ambiguity. Things get very dark here.
They really do. What's deeply insightful and challenging here is Rowling's profound exploration of moral ambiguity, which Unveiling Azkaban aptly identifies as a significant 1990s literary trend. She moves far beyond simplistic notions of pure good versus pure evil, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
She shows that characters can be deeply flawed, that seemingly good people, or at least members of the good side, can make terrible, far-reaching mistakes under pressure, and that even seemingly weak or insignificant individuals like Pettigrew can commit profound, world-altering betrayals out of fear. It's a messy, uncomfortable truth about human nature.
The pressure on characters to choose sides in this chapter, or rather to act on the truth they just learned, is incredibly intense and emotionally charged. It truly tests their loyalties to their friends, like Sirius wanting immediate revenge on Peter, to their ideals, like Lupin trying to maintain order, and even to their own survival, like Pettigrew begging for his life. You see their true natures revealed under immense duress. It showcases who possesses true bravery, like Harry stopping Sirius and Lupin from killing Pettigrew, who succumbs to utter cowardice, like Pettigrew himself, and who's truly devoted to their friendships and justice, even when it means facing death or difficult choices.
And this is where Peter Pettigrew's despicable treachery is fully and irrevocably unveiled, not just to the reader, but to Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and crucially, to Lupin and Sirius themselves as they confront him. His ultimate betrayal of his closest friends, James and Lily, his cowardice in the face of Voldemort, and his pivotal, horrific role in Voldemort's original rise to power by giving up their location. It's all laid bare. It's a gut-wrenching moment because it's a betrayal from within their own circle, not from an obvious external enemy. That makes it all the more painful and shocking.
The devastating consequences of choice are front and center here, too. The immense weight of the decisions made by the Marauders in their youth, particularly Peter's cowardice and subsequent betrayal, is staggering. You see how those individual choices directly impact not only their own lives and fates, Sirius's imprisonment, Lupin's isolation, but profoundly shape the future of the wizarding world and, most intimately, Harry's entire existence. Every action, every choice has a ripple effect through time.
That's heavy stuff. Which brings us to this thought for you, our listener. Explore a historical event or maybe a complex fictional narrative in U.S. culture where loyalty was severely tested and characters were forced to make incredibly difficult moral choices with far-reaching consequences.
Okay, any examples come to mind?
Well, think about the ethical dilemmas faced by maybe whistleblowers who must choose between institutional loyalty and exposing a moral truth, often at great personal cost. Or characters in a dramatic historical miniseries navigating wartime allegiances during, say, the Civil War, where friendships and deeply held ideals are pushed to their absolute breaking point by conflict.
Right. Those impossible choices.
Exactly. This chapter powerfully showcases the immense complexity of human nature under pressure, the fine, often blurry line between genuine bravery and profound cowardice, and the lasting, often tragic impact of choices that ultimately define a person's character, their legacy, and sometimes the very course of history.
A sobering look at betrayal and its fallout. Okay, deep moral questions raised. If you're grappling with these themes alongside us, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And let's continue to the next chapter. Okay, Chapter 20. The Dementor's Kiss. Phew, if the last chapter was dark, this one is chilling. Utterly terrifying and deeply disturbing.
It really is. It describes a desperate, harrowing battle against a swarm of Dementors by the lake, threatening nothing less than a soul's very survival for Harry and Sirius. And through this ultimate horror, it powerfully underscores the theme of hope's enduring defiant power, even when all seems lost.
What's profoundly chilling and uniquely impactful here is Rowling's haunting narrative, which Unveiling Azkaban reveals is directly tied to her personal struggles with depression. And you feel that weight. This scene vividly illustrates the very depth of despair and the chilling, irreversible nature of the Dementor's kiss, described as a fate far worse than death, where your very soul is sucked out of your body, leaving you as an empty, lifeless husk, just existing. It's a truly horrifying existential concept, brilliantly conceived as a magical representation of utter desolation and hopelessness.
But even in this utterly desperate, seemingly hopeless situation, surrounded by maybe 100 Dementors, the theme of hope's enduring power shines through so brightly, almost defiantly, doesn't it? Harry, despite his own immense trauma, his unique vulnerability to the Dementors, his palpable fear, he fights with every fiber of his being to save Sirius from this unspeakable fate. He keeps trying to cast the Patronus, even as he's failing.
Yeah, he doesn't give up.
It's an incredibly powerful testament to his unwavering courage, his profound sense of justice, and his fierce loyalty to those he cares about, even someone he's only just truly met. He does it even when facing overwhelming, soul-crushing darkness.
The ultimate stakes are clearly agonizingly defined here. The Dementor's kiss represents an irrevocable loss of self, a complete spiritual annihilation. It emphasizes the profound gravity of the situation and the sheer, almost impossible bravery it takes for Harry and Hermione, who's also there, terrified, to face such overwhelming odds. It's about protecting what makes someone fundamentally human, their memories, their emotions, their very essence, from being stolen forever.
And this is a true, undeniable moment of heroism and sacrifice. Harry is facing something that frightens even powerful, experienced adult wizards, something that could destroy him completely. But he doesn't hesitate to try and protect Sirius. He instinctively puts himself in harm's way, risking his own soul and life to protect and save someone he now knows is innocent and cares about, illustrating the profound power of selflessness and love, even in the face of absolute terror.
It's incredibly intense, which makes you think about overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. This raises an important question for you, our listener. Discuss how stories of immense personal struggle and the triumph of hope over despair are often depicted in powerful American narratives.
Okay.
Think about memoirs of individuals overcoming severe adversity, maybe a debilitating illness, a terrible accident, or surviving a profound loss. Or those inspirational stories of survival against overwhelming odds, perhaps during a natural disaster like a hurricane or wildfire, or a harrowing personal crisis where the human spirit somehow triumphs against the unimaginable.
Those stories give people hope.
Exactly. The Dementor's kiss resonates with that terrifying thought of losing one's essence or identity, of giving up hope completely. But Harry's desperate fight for Sirius, and eventually his own mysterious rescue by a powerful Patronus, taps into that primal human urge to fight for justice, to preserve dignity, and to protect loved ones. It embodies the enduring power of hope and love, even when facing what seems like impenetrable, soul-crushing darkness.
A truly terrifying climax by the lake. Okay, the depths of despair. If you felt the chill, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the next chapter.
And now for something completely different. Chapter 21, Hermione's Secret. Oh, this one is an absolute fan favorite, isn't it? And for such good reason.
It's brilliant. Time itself literally twists and bends as Hermione's incredible ingenuity and a long-held secret she's kept even from Harry and Ron suddenly saves the day well, saves Sirius and Buckbeak in a series of dazzling, unexpected surprises. It's a moment that really redefines her role and the very fabric of the narrative in a way.
What's fascinating and brilliantly executed here is Rowling's clever plotting, which Unveiling Azkaban notes is clearly inspired by sci-fi traditions. Specifically, the intriguing rules and paradoxes often found in time travel narratives. This dramatic revelation of the time turner and the subsequent use of it. It isn't just a convenient trick, a deus ex machina.
No, it feels earned somehow.
It does. It's a brilliant piece of magical technology that completely recontextualizes earlier events in the book, things we saw happen, and allows for an incredibly rare second chance at critical, life-altering moments, saving 2 innocent lives.
And this entire sequence is just a shining, undeniable moment for Hermione's ingenuity. It highlights her extraordinary intelligence, yes, but also her meticulous resourcefulness and the incredible practical application of her vast, hard-earned knowledge from all those extra classes she was taking.
All thanks to the time turner.
Exactly. She's not just book smart, she's incredibly capable, courageous, and strategic under immense pressure. She figures out Dumbledore's hints, she navigates the risks, proving that her academic prowess translates directly into real-world, life-saving action. Harry couldn't have done it without her.
The time-bending adventure itself is just thrilling, isn't it? Complex and filled with this sense of precariousness that can't be seen. It's an incredibly risky maneuver, fraught with potential paradoxes and unforeseen consequences if they mess up. But it's handled with such narrative grace, urgency, and exhilarating excitement. The audience is taken on this whirlwind journey where past events are revisited, understood anew, and subtly, yet crucially, altered by their unseen hands. The intricate dance of cause and effect is just beautifully orchestrated.
What's profoundly satisfying here is the clever retroactive way the time travel recontextualizes earlier events in the book. Moments you witnessed before, like Harry hearing himself cast Patronus across the lake, or Hermione throwing the rock through Hagrid's window.
So, right, that was them.
Exactly. They suddenly take on entirely new, profound meanings when you realize that Harry and Hermione were there all along, unseen, acting as their own guardian angels, fulfilling the events they already experienced. It's such a brilliant, satisfying aha moment for the reader.
Yeah.
An incredibly intricate piece of narrative design. It makes you want to reread the earlier chapters immediately.
It really does. Which brings up this fun thought for you, our listener. Compare the Time Turner's role and its inherent complexities to concepts of time travel in popular American sci-fi movies or shows.
Like Back to the Future.
Perfect example. Or the intricate causal loops and fixed points in time explored in shows like Doctor Who. Yeah. These narratives often delve deep into the rules and paradoxes of altering the past, the ethical implications, the dangers of creating alternate timelines, and the unforeseen, sometimes disastrous, consequences. The Time Turner taps directly into that pervasive human fantasy of wishing for a second chance, doesn't it? Of being able to fix past mistakes, prevent tragedies, or even just witness history unfold firsthand. It's the ultimate what-if scenario brought to life, offering both exhilarating possibilities and daunting, perhaps terrifying, responsibilities. Don't mess with time.
Hermione handles it perfectly, though. An absolutely brilliant chapter. Okay, time turned. If you enjoyed unraveling that paradox, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and let's continue to the final chapter.
Finally, we arrive at chapter 22. Outpost again.
Ah.
A nice symmetry.
It really is. After all the chaos, the shocking revelations, the Dementors, the time-bending adventure, hope truly rises as Harry finds a profound sense of closure, at least on some fronts, and the promise of new beginnings. This chapter brings our deep dive into Prisoner of Azkaban to a heartfelt close, ending with a lingering sense of wonder and renewed connection. It feels earned.
What's so deeply satisfying and emotionally impactful here is Rowling's heartfelt resolution, which, Unveiling Azkaban notes, is subtly reflecting 1990s optimism. And maybe it does feel that way. It doesn't neatly tie up every single loose end Pettigrew escaped, after all.
Right, that's a huge loose end.
Huge. But it provides a crucial sense of comfort, healing, and future possibility for Harry. It's a moment of breathing a collective sigh of relief with him, where the darkest clouds begin to part and a glimmer of genuine hope and clarity appears on the horizon. Sirius is free, even if he's a fugitive.
Harry truly gains an invaluable sense of closure and new beginnings regarding his parents' true friends and, crucially, the immense injustice served to Sirius Black. This newfound understanding of his lineage, of the truth behind the betrayal, allows him to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose, a clear identity, and the profound hope of a true family connection, something he's never really had.
And it's a powerful moment of reconnection. The reestablished connection with Sirius, even from afar, through Owlpost again, symbolizes a new, powerful, and deeply longed-for family bond for Harry. He now has a godfather, a true family member who deeply understood and loved his parents, which is something he's always craved and desperately needed. This is more than just a relative found. It's a piece of his lost family returned to him, in spirit if not in person yet.
And through all the trials and terrifying moments of this year, the enduring strength of Harry, Ron, and Hermione's friendship is just so evident, isn't it? They faced so many threats together, so many betrayals around them, and their bond has only grown stronger. It's proven to be the unwavering anchor in Harry's tumultuous life. That steadfast loyalty and profound understanding between the three of them is a core, uplifting message of the entire series, highlighted again here.
Absolutely. The chapter leaves you and Harry with a profound sense of wonder. Despite all the danger, the darkness, the moments of utter despair faced this year, the magic of the wizarding world continues to inspire, to uplift, and to hold incredible possibilities. It's a powerful reminder that even after hardship and profound revelations, there's always beauty, excitement, like getting permission to visit Hogsmeade finally, and a sense of endless possibility to be found. It affirms the enduring power of magic, friendship, and hope.
So what does this all mean for us, the listener, as we conclude this particular journey through Azkaban? It's the profound satisfaction, isn't it? of a story's resolution that provides hope and sets the stage for future adventures. You leave this book feeling uplifted, with a deep sense of wonder and optimism, knowing that even though challenges will undoubtedly continue, pedigree was out there. There's a clearer path forward and stronger bonds to face them with.
Definitely. Which leads to one last thought for you, our listener. Discuss how American narratives often conclude with a sense of hopeful closure, but also, critically, with an understanding that life's journey continues.
Yeah, not always happily ever after in a final sense.
Right. Think about a successful underdog story, where the protagonist achieves your immediate goal, wins the championship, gets the girl, whatever. But the ending implies new challenges or further personal growth lie ahead. It often skillfully sets the stage for sequels or just a deeper understanding of their evolving identity. The ending of Prisoner of Azkaban provides that cathartic resolution for the immediate conflict. Sirius is safe for now, the truth is known to some. It brings Harry a measure of peace and truth. But it also brilliantly opens up vast new possibilities and dangers for Harry's future. It echoes that American ideal, maybe, of continuous growth, the enduring pursuit of purpose, and the understanding that true transformation is an ongoing process. The story isn't over.
Not by a long shot. A fantastic end to a fantastic book. Hashtag tag 3 outro.
So if we try and connect all that back to the bigger picture, Prisoner of Azkaban truly marks a pivotal shift in the narrative, doesn't it? It moves us far beyond the simpler notions of good versus evil found in the earlier books.
Definitely more gray areas.
Exactly. Delving into a world filled with nuanced moral complexity, deeply hidden pasts, secrets everywhere, and the enduring, often painful power of truth finally coming out. We started this deep dive with the terrifying premise of a dangerous escaped prisoner, Sirius Black. But through Harry's incredible journey of discovery, we ultimately uncover these intricate layers of loyalty, devastating betrayal, and deep-seated injustices that reshaped everything he thought he knew about his parents and their world.
Exactly. We saw Harry grapple with profound, soul-crushing trauma, brilliantly represented by the Dementors, didn't we? And learn to actively fight despair with the powerful Patronus charm finding his inner strength. He ultimately discovered the true, deeper meaning of family, one that extends far beyond blood relatives, through the heartbreaking and heartwarming revelation of the Marauders and his connection to Sirius. This wasn't just about catching an escaped convict. It was about understanding the true cost of the First War against Voldemort, the lingering, complex shadows of the past, and the shocking, transformative power of enduring friendship and profound sacrifice. The book truly elevated the stakes and the emotional depth of the series in a huge way.
It really did. What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how J.K. Rowling consistently uses these rich, imaginative, magical elements. Dementors, Boggarts, Time Turners, the map, to explore incredibly relatable, universal human experiences.
Yeah, things we all feel.
Right. The agony of isolation, the struggle for self-control in the face of overwhelming emotion, the primal fear of the unknown, and the empowering journey of discovering your own inner strength and solidifying your identity as you grow up. These are the threads that make the magic so resonant, so meaningful beyond just fantasy.
And this raises an important question for you, our listener. In your own life, how have unexpected revelations, perhaps, about a person you thought you knew really well, or a situation you felt you understood completely, how have those revelations dramatically reshaped your understanding, forcing you to maybe reevaluate perceptions and beliefs you once held dear? It happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Food for thought.
And as you reflect on Harry's tumultuous third year at Hogwarts, consider this final provocative thought. If the past truly holds the keys to understanding the present, if history's echoes are always around us, what hidden truths, what crucial connections might still be lurking in plain sight in our own world, waiting for someone brave and perceptive enough to seek them out, to piece together the fragments of a larger untold story?
We truly hope this deep dive into Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban has given you a fresh perspective, maybe ignited some new thoughts, and provided much to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us today for this magical exploration.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive here on BookPodCastZone.